Welcome in everybody to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. I'm James Haskell, along with my co-host Glenn Martin. It's been a minute since we've been on, enjoying a little bit of the offseason, as I'm sure you guys are as well. But there's always Baltimore Ravens news going on. There's always stuff to talk about. And certainly, whether it's not Baltimore Ravens directly, there's a lot of stuff impacting the Ravens around the league. And otherwise, the NFL never sleeps. So we're here to talk about it. Glenn, how are you doing this evening, my man?
Doing well. Hopefully this thunderstorm that's approaching and I think passing over right now doesn't cut my power out. Last night, crazy thunderstorm in Baltimore, hit my neighbor's tree, exploded bark off each side. It was absolutely crazy. So hopeful, no power outages. If I just disappear, that's what happened. Okay. The power went out. But other than that, man, we got training camp right around the corner, Jimbo. A first look at some of the newcomers to the team. And there is a laundry list of guys that I am hopeful for, excited about. Can't wait to see for the first time with my own two eyes. And training camp today, look, the passes were released 9 a.m. for PSL holders, 11 a.m. for all others. And just like every other year, Jimbo, there's more frustration surrounding it and disappointment and excitement as well. But, man, you go on social media, Jimbo, a lot of people yet again missed out on their passes. It's like that, and they're gone, Jimbo.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate, and shout out to Glenn for having the setup, getting it done. And I wish more people out there would get availability to go to the practices. Dude, remember the old days when it was open?
Oh yeah, good old days. Remember me and you going as children together?
Dude, yeah, it was my first time going. It was with you and the Pianster.
That's right.
Yeah,
literal children, and looking at just how huge they were in person. And you could get really, really up close in person when they were at McDaniel College.
Yeah, when I was a little older, my nieces and nephews are tapping on the window here. When I was a little older, let's see, what year was that? Paul Kruger was on the team. I think that was 2007 or
Sounds right.
8, somewhere in there. I went there with my cousin, and he signed a ton of autographs, and I'm like way in the back. Dude, got his attention. I just went, "Go Utes, baby!" He looks up and he's like, "Yeah." So he called us over, signed all our stuff, and I was like, "That's right." Anyway, it's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But Jake, I gotta address the elephant in the room here, dude. I've ordered this thing 3 times, and I've ordered it 3 times, Jake. I promise we are not scamming you. And the second time, I even ordered an extra one because I felt so bad about this situation. So I've just got to take the time to now call them. I have order confirmations for each one, but I don't have shipping confirmations for each one. Each of them said end of May, whenever it was, like 2-3 weeks out from the time I ordered it, but nothing has happened. So I will get on it. I promise that it will show up at your doorstep. We did not forget about you. My apologies, Jake. And look, if it takes that long, this is what I'm going to do, Glenn. Okay?
What are you going to do?
Jake, I'm going to do one of 2 things. And you let me know here what your preference is. We will just send you an Amazon gift card if it takes way too much time, because I know you live here in Maryland. Or we'll send you a gift card to your favorite restaurant.
There you go.
But we'll get you taken
something
care
is
of,
going on because
dude, 3 orders.
It's driving Jimmy crazy. He's like, "How? What is going on?" It's absolutely driving him nuts. So sorry, Jake, but believe me, not forgotten about.
I appreciate it, Jake. Thank you so much, man.
But yeah, as like Jimmy was saying today with the training camp tickets, we do have rookies reporting July 15th. Veterans arrive on July the 22nd. There were 16 open practices included on today's release, including one at the stadium, which never runs out, right? Because they can fit 80,000 people in there. So you'll certainly, if you can't catch them at the Under Armour Performance Center, you can certainly get to the free open practice at the stadium, which is pretty cool. Let's see. But moral of the story, I had 3 phones and a computer all positioned around me at exactly 11 a.m. in 0 seconds. And that's the only reason I was able to get some. As last year, we were one of those who were frustrated and left kind of on the outside, and fortunate enough that a listener was able to hook us up and give us some stuff. So, yeah, I cannot wait, Jimbo. There's so many rookies right now and young players that have joined this team that I just want to see. I want to get my eyes on. I want to make sure, because this is kind of the first test for them as well, in a sense that pads come on at some point. There's going to be physicality, which we haven't seen from these guys. But I think even more importantly is the crowds and how that influences how a player might play. I think it's different when there's nobody on the sidelines versus, how many thousand people, I believe, every day that show up. I think it was 1,000 or so every day. I think that changes things when people are watching and people are watching. I think that amps up the pressure and is more closely resembling an actual football game than when there's nobody on the sidelines. I mean, that's kind of my take. So I can't wait. And Jimbo, I gotta get your opinion on some of this. I don't know what you think. They have this important, 30 most important Ravens of 2025, and they're highlighting a lot of these guys heading into camp, rightfully so. And man, I see number 24. I think he should be higher on this list, Jimbo. Number 24 on the 30 most important Ravens of 2025 is Daniel Faalele, Jimbo. And heading into camp, he seems like he has no real threats at competition for right guard. Like, I don't see any. I know that Emory Jones, a lot of people are hopeful. Mm-hmm. This guy's not going to be healthy for camp. How can a guy not healthy for camp compete for a guy who was a Pro Bowl alternate last year? Not happening.
Yeah, that does seem low to me.
24? Like,
right? So let's see. If you take half the guys on defense, half the guys on offense, you're already at, call it 12, you round up, right? Mm-hmm. And just on offense, who are the guys more important than him? Obviously,
well, it's Lamar. Not even most important, of course, is going to be your stuff. But as far as we know what we're going to get from those guys. We know what we're going to get from Lamar.
Right.
We know what we're going to get from Derrick Henry. So when I think of important, I think of what if Daniel Faalele puts it together this year and takes, he took a jump. I think his grade went from 48 in 2023 to 60, his PFF grade. So he jumped it. What if that grade takes the next level and takes a huge jump to, say, in the 80s? That's the way I look at it. How important, if that guy takes it to the next level and plays like a true Pro Bowl alternate and not just 50 guys decided not to go, and so he was the only one left alternate. I'm like, who could be more impactful that you're, I guess, maybe not expecting?
This is a good question, Glenn. So where was Patrick Ricard on this list?
Oh, you know what? I don't even think he made the list, bro.
He certainly belongs on the list.
Yeah. Just ask Gruden.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm guessing that Linderbaum is ahead of him. Same thing with right tackle. I'm trying to think of who's our third corner. I guess
Marlon.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's technically Nate Wiggins, but Marlon's going to play the inside.
Yeah. No, I think immediately Patrick Ricard came to my mind.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, as far as underrated guy, yeah.
For sure. I mean, outside the Ravens locker room, you say you didn't make the list. It's like, what?
Yeah, I don't see him. I'm looking at the list right now. I don't even see him on the list. Unless I have an incorrect list, I don't see him. And maybe it's just because you kind of it's another guy where we know what we're getting out of Pat Ricard. If he's not injured, Pat Ricard is going to be Pro Bowl Pro Bowl fullback out of the AFC, unless they give it to that knockoff, that Timu Pat Ricard out of San Diego like they did last year, which was a complete joke. They just literally tried to make a new Pat Ricard in LA, and it's like we got the OG here, we got the original. But yeah, I just thought that was kind of a interesting.
That is a low, and it's a good point. I wonder how much they rated. Okay, to your point, we already know what we're gonna get, but as far as importance, part of that could be because we already know we're getting here the X factors, right? We need these guys to improve.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm like, where is he?
Yeah, he needs to be way higher up there if that's part of the equation.
Yeah, no doubt. And then also heading into camp, I'm curious what we're apparently going to be getting a sneak peek at some of the stadium upgrades that the Ravens have been working on for the upcoming season when we hopefully get to go to the open practice at the stadium, which is on August 3rd, by the way, at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Nice.
And I'm just thinking they just put that monster those monster screens in. Like what I can't remember what the other theme or the other upgrades were, but something tells. I remember there was something on the field level, but I'm interested to see what changes they have. I love the game day experience at M&T Bank Stadium. If you guys haven't been, I'd certainly encourage you to go, and definitely encourage, if you can make it happen, to make it to a night game. That tends to be the most fun.
Best bang for your buck if you can make it, I think, right?
Yeah, and even if it's a Thursday game, like Thursday games are great. As a fan in the stands, because they go all out. It's a primetime game. There's only two teams being watched, right? And it's them and their opponent. So I would encourage you guys to go out. I mean, watching the game at home, sure, it has its advantages. You can use the bathroom whenever you want. You can pause. You can rewind. You can, have any drinks you want and pay a lot less for them. But there's nothing like being at a primetime game in M&T Bank Stadium. No doubt about it.
Yeah, and I'm excited about them as well. I'm excited to see what they're going to do. I mean, to your point, I haven't been to a ton of stadiums, but I have been to where the Commanders play. Ugh. No, thank you. I've been to a few other stadiums. Yeah, the M&T Bank, we got it good. I'm excited to see the improvements there. Yep. But Glenn, I also want to talk about stuff we've been texting about, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Pittsburgh Steelers because they've made some moves. Now, I think it was a week ago or so at this point, maybe a little over a week, but I think it's still noteworthy and worthy of a conversation as well. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, help me understand this. I think there's a few moving parts here. One, they give up Minka Fitzpatrick. He goes back to Miami.
Yep.
They gain Jonnu Smith, and they also gain, Jalen Ramsey. And then I think they did a pick swap, which is relative, it's kind of irrelevant to the conversation.
Yeah, fifth or seventh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really about Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu for Minka. So my first question to you, before we talk about the Steelers side of this, who do you think won this trade?
It's interesting because when the news first broke, if you guys remember, it was Jalen Ramsey or Steelers trade for Jalen Ramsey. And that was it. Compensation wasn't revealed. So I was like, wow, okay. I guess they had a fire lit under their ass from the moves they're seeing around the AFC. And they're like, we better go do something. But then I see the compensation, and then I see Jonnu is included. Jonnu's a tight end, a fantastic tight end. I think he's underrated. But when I see Minka, I then go, is this like Jonnu Smith it's interesting. He joins a room that has Pat Freiermuth, and it has Darnell Washington, the 6'8".
Yeah, the monster.
Yeah, freak show, can block, he can still run out of Alabama. So I'm thinking, was there a great need for Jonnu? Now I know they have a very run heavy of Arthur Smith as their new offensive coordinator, and he's an incredibly run heavy play caller. He likes to play a ton of tight ends, and Jonnu Smith has really flourished in his exact system in other places. So I know he'll fit, but they already had two really good tight ends in Freiermuth and Darnell Washington. So what are they going to play, three? Or do they maybe not believe that Darnell is really the pass catcher that they wanted? I don't know, because if he's not getting a ton of snaps and he's not like a big part of this trade and a huge producer for you, I'm not so sure that you're really getting an upgrade from Minka to Jalen. He's an older guy. Jalen's not getting any younger. He's certainly a boisterous personality, and that's the first thing I thought of is his personality. So now you've added in this offseason, sure, you've gotten rid of George Pickens, who seemed like a pretty tough guy to deal with as far as the head coach, and just the Steelers proved it by getting rid of him. I think that's kind of all the proof you need. But DK Metcalf's a strong personality. I don't think he might not be like you don't have to worry about his hustle like you had to worry about Pickens.
Right.
Like, he'll block his ass off and he'll chase guys. But he's a vocal guy, and if he's not happy, he'll let you know it. Aaron Rodgers, he's going to be live on Pat McAfee telling every bit of bad news when he's on there. And now you add Jalen Ramsey, who, believe me, Jimbo, he's not quiet if he's unhappy. And so I just wonder how this team is going to because Minka's not that kind of guy. He's not the kind of guy that's going to throw teammates under the bus. He's not going to call out his coaching. Ramsey, on the other hand, if they're losing,
no problem.
Zero issues spouting off. So I find it very surprising that they're going to add that type of a personality. And to me, it screamed desperation, Jimbo.
Dude, that's the exact word that I wanted to say is just seems desperate, seems grabby. You know what I'm saying? Like anything that's out there on the clearance rack. Let me go grab it just because it's there. And to your point, trying to keep up. Now, Jono, I think could be an interesting piece to this. I think Frymuth is a little under or overrated.
Okay. He's not fast. He's slow.
No, he's right. And so we'll see what happens there. He could be, certainly an upgrade there. But as far as the defensive side of the ball goes, yeah, I think Jalen Ramsey is he's at the arc in his career where he's overpaid. I think he's just overpaid. I think he's still okay, but I don't think he's Jalen Ramsey of the past. And I'm okay with it. Yeah, keep bringing in old guys. And I mean, I know, look, we got an old running back. That's fine. Like, according to running backs, right? Like, but anyway, I'm okay with, I'm not just okay with this move. I'm in favor of this move because I don't think it makes them materially better. I guess it makes them marginally better, and that's not to say that Jalen isn't better than who they got in the cornerback room, but they also lost Minkah Fitzpatrick.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Mm-hmm. Imagine if, now he's not Kyle Hamilton, not on his best day, but imagine if we lost Kyle Hamilton. That's a problem. Now, Kyle does a lot more for our defense than Minkah did there, but either way.
But to your point, a safety, you can move a safety around to play many different roles.
And certainly Minkah had that ability.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no knocking him. The dude was a versatile football player, physical, could get the ball. But I think at the end of the day, to your point, the Aaron Rodgers signing, the Jalen Ramsey going to get him, they're trying to Frankenstein a team.
They are. They're trying to keep pace. And doesn't this feel like the most non-Steelers type of moves?
It does. I said this the other day. This is what happens when you have a multi-generation ownership team. Like, look at the Giants. Are they not doing the same exact thing?
That's a good point.
Like, I'm super glad that Bisciotti has already made it public that his children are not inheriting the team. Yeah,
I didn't think about it like that. I'm trying to think of who's successfully. I mean, the Steelers before recently have been incredibly successful. And even with this deal, I don't think it's ridiculous to think that they're going to keep the streak alive of not having a losing season. But to me, it's like eventually you have to find your quarterback one way or another. And I think putting a bandage of Aaron Rodgers on your season is going to do nothing but force you to pick in the late teens. And sure, you could get lucky and find your quarterback of the future at that pick or even later. I mean, you saw Russell Wilson go in the 3rd or 5th, and you've seen, obviously, the GOAT go even later. But it's incredibly rare, and that's why we only talk about those guys. Because typically, if you look around the league in the last couple decades, the vast majority of longtime starters are picked at the very front half of the first round. It's just how it is. So I just feel like they're trying to put Band-Aids over leaks in a boat, Jimbo, and it's just they keep springing up, and eventually that thing's going to sink down. As far as you mentioned the contract and how much, like, the money, it's about a $10 million relief for the Dolphins. They're trading away, looks like they're trading away $25 million worth of cap hit from Ramsey and Smith and taking on $15 million of Minkah Fitzpatrick. But on top of that, the Dolphins went ahead, and this is why, and part of the reason why they were fine with trading Jonnu is that they knew Darren Waller had contacted Drew Rosenhaus and said, I'm coming out of retirement, but for only one team, and that is the Miami Dolphins. I want to play for them. I want to play in Miami. And so his agent made it happen, and so they don't have a missing spot at tight end. If anything, if they're both at their very best, they've upgraded at tight end in Darren Waller. Now, this is the same guy who a couple weeks ago was talking about how he quit football because they kept using him as a lead blocker. And he said, no, I'm retiring. So I don't know if he's how long this is going to last, but at least for now, he is the newest Dolphins tight end.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. And I also don't know what his mental state is. And we saw some things that were a bit worrisome,
Well, he has a long drug history. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't even want to go into that one because you just never, you don't want to assume, and you want to think of the best, right? You want to hope.
Well, I think he's funding his rap career. I think you need a couple $dollars to keep putting out rapping. Yeah, he's trying.
Maybe that might be the case. But either way, yeah, I think I think Miami with a questionable Darren Waller, I mean, that'll be really interesting to see. But the Steelers, to your point, they're trying to Frankenstein this thing together, just piecemealing it. And you know as well as I that it generally doesn't work this way. Now, the Rams didn't really do it. They just brought in a quarterback. They drafted their guys.
Nah, but they did. They traded for Ramsey, and they won.
That's true, but they drafted Donald. They drafted Cooper Kupp. Who was the running back there that they drafted that year? I just don't think it was to this degree, is I guess what I'm saying.
But they're the only team, Jimbo, that you can point to who did this type of.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even say that. They went more all in. They trade away like how many first-round draft picks, and the only reason they weren't bashed is that it worked. That's the only reason, because it was crazy. They gave up everything. But now you look at them, and they're doing just fine, Jimbo. But they traded. He'll be 31, by the way, in October.
Who?
Jalen Ramsey.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
he's getting older. And by the way, do the Dolphins just want every fast guy? I mean, look at their receiving core. They got Hill and Waddle, probably the two fastest receivers in all the league. They had, I know they got rid of them this year, but they had Mostert and Devon Achane, probably the fastest backfield in the entire league. And then they go and get Darren Waller, who might be the fastest tight end in the league. It's like speed, Jimbo. That's all they want.
Yeah, you can't blame them, I guess, right?
I mean, it helps. Speed
definitely helps. Definitely helps. But it's going to be interesting to see. I guess at the end of the day, I'll answer this question myself and then ask you. Well, I'll just ask you first. Do you consider them any more of a threat after this?
No, I don't. I think that if anything, I don't know if it really changes like the win-loss. Like you said, I think they might. It's hard to say. Like, it really depends on who they're playing if they've upgraded. Like, I think if they're playing a team where it serves you more to have a versatile tight end, I mean, a safety that you can move around the field and super smart, then you might have lost out. But if you're playing a team that, man, this guy's got a stud, we need a bona fide, competitive corner that can lock it, then maybe in that regard you've gotten better. But it's really hard to say that it's going to change their win-loss record. That I don't think it changes it at all, Jimbo.
So I'm right there with you. Do this math with me, right? Because Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson are probably relatively equivalent right now. Relatively equivalent. Aaron Rodgers, I guess you can argue, is a little bit better, but look, it was what it was
last year.
Right. I think that DK Metcalf and who's the kid they lost?
Pickens.
They're in the same category. Now,
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? I know that Pickens is more of a head case, but type of player.
If I was throwing a jump ball, I'd rather have Pickens.
Right. I mean, he's certainly got better hands, better catch radius. He doesn't have the work ethic, doesn't have the body, but
doesn't have the speed.
But I think that my point really is that they're comparable. And then you remove Minka Fitzpatrick and you add Jalen Ramsey. Like you said, what have you actually done to improve? You know what I'm saying? Right. If you look at this holistically, it's a tough sell, at least to me as a Ravens fan, to say, I'm more concerned now about the Steelers than I was before. I'm not. To your point, I'm just not.
Nope. Not scared of them at all. If anything, I just can't wait to see the drama unfold. Week 8, Jimbo, I'm calling it now. By week 8, this locker room is imploding. It's completely imploding. The only way it doesn't, and there's a chance it doesn't, and I could be completely wrong, and that's the only chance, is that this offensive line plays so above and beyond over their head. They keep Aaron Rodgers healthy and confident. Confident to stay in the pocket, step up into the pocket when need be, and not like he was last year where it was hard to watch. Let me remind everyone, the Jets were better with Wilson, with Zach Wilson, than they were with Aaron Rodgers. In every way, offensive production, win-loss record, they were better with Zach Wilson. So when Jimmy says, is Russell Wilson that much different than Aaron Rodgers? That sounds like most people go, he's crazy. It's Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
This ain't the old Aaron Rodgers, guys. It's a different guy. So, yeah, I love it, dude. I'll admit, when I first saw the news and it was just Ramsey goes down, I was like, ooh, that defense is going to be tough, man. But then you start seeing more, and now TJ Watt is still incredibly disgruntled. There's already, I'm seeing articles popping up, best trade destinations for TJ Watt. If you lose TJ Watt, I mean, the defense isn't even going to be that good. Like, who cares? I mean, yeah.
And that's so I'm glad you brought that up because that was actually the other thing I was going to say is the most important thing they should have done this offseason is make TJ Watt feel good about being here, sign him to his deal, get him taken care of. That should have been their number one priority. End of story.
Right. Exactly. Like, that is your all world everything. Like, imagine if that guy isn't finishing his career in Pittsburgh. Like, that would be like, what the hell? That would be shocking. So, yeah, a very unsteeler-like Steelers offseason. And I'm all for it. I love to see it. I'd also love to see the Bengals continue drama surrounding their first-round selection. The fact that they keep trying to put this clause in his contract that's never been there in the history of their draft picks. And he's like, no, I'm 10 toes down. I'm right. They're wrong. I'm not letting them put this deal or this clause in my contract that can let them void all my guaranteed money for something that they deem as conduct detrimental or no, hell no. So I love it, Jimbo. I love to see all the drama surrounding the other AFC North competitors.
Great.
I'm here for it.
Glad the Ravens are out of the news.
Yeah. For anything bad, like we did see, of course, Lamar on the Cold as Balls. Is it a podcast or show?
I think it's just a show, yeah. I wouldn't call it a podcast.
With Kevin Hart, yeah, he continues to kind of be out there and continue to represent the Ravens. And so we're only seeing good news for the Ravens. Yeah. We're not seeing any bad news as of late.
No, and we're thankful for that. Now, the other thing I want to talk about, Glenn, is we kind of talked about was at this point, right? Camp is upon us. Remember, Ozzy always used to say, and Eric says the same thing: season stuff doesn't start till September, right? And he would always say that in reference to us adding more pieces to this team if need be. And the Ravens, I think, are known for not just here, but around the league, but adding that piece, right? Now, I think we've added some guys, right? Like, we've added 2 corners. We've added some guys. But is there a chance that the Ravens add another piece is the conversation I think that's worth having, and at what position. So I kind of want to get your thoughts here, Glenn, on whether or not, the Ravens will add another piece. And then also let's talk through like what positions and why, right? I think you have some positions in mind. I may have some different ones, but I kind of want to get your take here.
Yeah, and I think it looks like Joe Eckert is kind of voicing the same question here. We got $17 million in remaining cap space. What the heck did the Ravens do with it? And I think you're both right. They have an opportunity right now. I think with that space, and they're looking to create more. The talks are that the Ravens and Lamar Jackson are in contract extension talks, and we're going to get into that. And I think in a second, as well as I think Lamar has quite a lot of bargaining power right now, and he may choose to flex that muscle. But as far as the Ravens and the remaining cap space, they don't typically go into the season with that much left cap space remaining. That would be surprising if that was the case. So I look around, I go, well, what positions? In my opinion, I don't see a lot of teams willing to trade a quality offensive lineman. So I see Joe mentions O-line. Yeah, I could see the Ravens still needing some maybe additional competition or help on the interior. Obviously, they're solid at tackle. You can't get any better really at center. And they have a lot of young competition at both guard positions. But I don't see anyone in the league going, okay, I have a good offensive lineman. I'm willing to give them up. Heck no, they don't do it. It's just not enough good ones to start all 32 teams, much less having extras laying around. So I do think that's probably still our biggest question mark on the offensive side of the ball, Joe. I don't think that they're going to add an offensive lineman at this point. Linebacker, there's certainly a chance. I think they could add what I would say is a downs 1 and 2 tackling linebacker that they could put next to Roquan Smith. But I think they like what they have in Trenton Simpson and Teddy Buchanan. Teddy Buchanan, first of all, is huge. Like, he's way bigger than I thought he would look. Like, this dude is put together. He can run. He's a heat-seeking missile when the ball carrier has the ball in his hands. And Trenton Simpson, again, has every bit of physical ability you would want as a player. Like Coach said, he just needs to work on his processing speed and be able to see what he is in front of him and then attack. So I don't think it'll be that either. I think the most common or the most likely places are going to be either another edge guy or a third competent safety if they don't believe that they have that in Bo Braid and Sanusi Kane, because I do think that this defense was at its best when they had 3 safeties playing a ton of downs. And right now with Ardarius tearing his Achilles, they only have 2 that we know and can. I say this about Malachi like he's a veteran, but it just feels like he's already like I don't know if you guys saw Zay Flowers was like, nah, Malachi's one of them dudes already. Like he's already that guy. But I do think there's room for a third. So I would say edge with guys like maybe Jadeveon Clowney coming back. I see Za'Darius is on my list, but I thought, did he not?
Yeah, no, he did. Now I do have a name for you though.
Tell me.
You talked about safety, and I was thinking about this. Now we might be hesitant based on our recent track record with University of Utah safeties, but Julian Blackmon's out there.
Yeah.
27.
Love that.
I think that could be a good option for us. I think that, to your point, optimizing that position is having 3 really good ones out there. So I think that could be a sneaky good one if he's still sitting out there after a while. That one could be really fun. There was another one I wanted to bring up too, at guard if we felt like it was necessary. Brendan Scherf is 33, 5-time Pro Bowler, had a 94% pass block win rate in 2024. Has been, long-term starter. Feels to me like, he's a little older than Zeitler was when we signed him, but could be one of those like really good 1 to 2 years left in him. So that could be another potential there as well. Those are 2 names that came to my mind. Now I haven't mentioned anyone on the edge because I don't know if there's anyone out there, Glenn, that I see being the type of guy that the Ravens would go after. I don't know if you have a guy in mind.
Did Matthew Judon sign it anywhere?
I believe so. Let me double check.
Okay. Because I know that would actually, you know what? I thought we did talk about it actually already on the show. That it's not happening. I don't know where he went, but yeah, I mean, there's not a ton out there. I do like our young guys. Of course, Mike Green being the really only new addition to the edge group. Everyone else is a returning member of last year's team. But this team was really good at getting to the quarterback last year. I mean, maybe not in the most conventional way. And I know we're all waiting for Kyle Van Noy to just stop being as good as he's been.
Right.
But until he proves that he's not, I got to say we can count on Kyle Van Noy. Like, I think that's not something we're hoping for. I think at this point, we can say we can pencil him in for a good amount of sacks. And then I think the same can be said with Odafe Owe. So I don't think it would hurt this team unless there's an injury if they stand pat what they have in the edge group, because I have a lot of confidence in Mike Green and the guys coming back from last year. So, yeah, I think one name you didn't mention at safety that I would really, Justin Simmons to me. He's a little older.
Did he sign recently?
Did he?
Let me double check. Because I saw that name as well, but I was like, I think he signed.
It's hard. It's like so hard to find a current list.
No, he's a free agent. My bad, dude.
Yeah. So
no, that would be I think that would probably be number 1. For some reason, I felt like he signed somewhere. But yeah, I've been wondering why he hasn't been linked to us since the day he got released.
Well, I think that he does want to be paid well. I mean, he's got 32 career interceptions. I mean, this is a guy who, you get to 32 picks in a career, you're a ball player. You're doing something. So even though but he's older, so maybe that helps us. I know that he's got a connection with Vic Fangio, so a lot are thinking that he might ultimately end up as an Eagle.
Yeah.
Which would just like great. They're going to add more talent.
Right,
that's
exactly.
the only team.
That's what we want.
Yeah, that's the only team whose roster is threatening the Ravens, in my opinion, is the best roster in football. But there's also a young guy like Javon Holland out of Miami, 25 years old, incredibly young guy, tackling machine. I think he would be an excellent fit, but he's young, so I think he's going to get paid really handsomely. So it's hard to know, but if I had to pick one position, it would be safety, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it'll be really interesting to see what we do here. But my guess is we do make one more signing.
Okay.
Don't you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but I don't think they'll just bring in a guy like at a random. Like it'll be one of those positions where
very
he has
intentional.
A chance.
The Ravens aren't going to piecemeal this thing.
No, heck no. But man, I tell you, if you guys have been seeing all the training camp or the video, I shouldn't say training camp, like just the personal training videos that we've been seeing a lot of the players for the Ravens post, seeing these guys running hills and watching Derrick Henry juke midway up a steep hill is insane to me. Like, how are you moving? Like, it's just crazy. And then Zay Flowers looks just ridiculously shifty. I love what we're hearing about Tez Walker and all the stuff. I know he's down there with Lamar and the guys. Even, I tell you what, man, that young guy Wester, man. Wester's getting a lot of love, man. A lot of love from his teammates, like a lot of love from the national media. It's like, it's always weird how a guy like that can just slip through the draft and yet all of a sudden explode with all this hype. It's like, well, where the hell was all this hype when did we get that guy in like the 6th or 7th round?
Yeah.
It's crazy because now I'm seeing him on like Good Morning Football did like a thing on him. I'm like, what? Okay, I like that. So yeah, I can't wait to see some of these skill position guys and see what they can do. But I know we were getting ready to. Oh yeah, I did want to get your take on Lamar's continued contract negotiations because I think it's important. He's scheduled to have a cap hit of I believe $76 million next year and the year after, which there's no way the Ravens could operate and build a good team with that. With that cap hit. So I think both are encouraged. Both want to, like, Lamar wants to be here. The Ravens obviously want Lamar here. But I'm curious, like, it makes me think back of the negotiations last time and how it got dark. Like we were getting a little sad around here. We were thinking, is this really about to go south? Are we going to watch Lamar play in a different uniform? And then he accepts the deal and everything's great. But remember, Jimbo, he wanted some things on that deal that he wasn't able to get. You know, he wasn't able to get a fully guaranteed contract like he initially said he wanted, which everyone wants, of course. But he's the type of player that might actually be able to get it and command it. Now he has, even, in my opinion, more bargaining power than he had last time. Whereas now he has more body of work that's ridiculously productive, like the best player in the entire league productive.
It's time.
Like, is he coming to the table like, I know I didn't get it last time, but I'm getting it this time, and there's nothing you can do because if you don't, next year you're gonna have me as a $70-some million cap hit, and the same with the year. So, like, is he gonna get what every quarterback has been wanting? Do you think he finally gets that fully guaranteed deal?
I think so. I think it's time, Glenn. I think it's time.
The door is going to be opened, huh? To the rest of the league?
I don't think there's a way around it. Lamar has all of the advantages here. And so I think it's time. And I don't think there's a player more worthy of this contract than Lamar Jackson. I don't think there's a better player dollar for dollar that you get return on your investment on. And anybody can argue me anytime they want. I don't care. I will go to my grave believing this. You can say whatever, Joe Burrow, who's the what's his name? Patrick Mahomes, whoever. I don't care, because if a singular football player, most impactful football player on the face of the planet has ever lived is Lamar Jackson. I think the argument is actually simple because Lamar in any equation equals more than any other player in any equation.
He does. The only thing is, like, because Lamar's the one guy who could do it and then make it look like he's still underpaid. Like, that's how good Lamar is. But once you open the door, once Lamar kicks that door open, then the next guy is going to want it. Then the guy after that's going to want it. And then it's not going to just be quarterbacks. Then it's going to be other positions. Now corners want it. Now left tackles want it. Now wide receivers want it. And then before you know it, Jimbo, the thing that scares me is that every contract will eventually be fully guaranteed. And then we have the NBA. And we have MLB, and that scares the hell out of me because those players have so much power. They can pretty much say when and where they want to go. Yeah. And, like, I mean, look, I'm an Orioles fan who's watching Chris Davis 2 days ago collect one of his deferred payments of $14 million that he'll be getting from now until God knows when. And he's not playing for the Orioles and hasn't played or contributed for the Orioles in quite some time. But his deal is fully guaranteed no matter what, even if he never swung another bat. And that's what scares me a bit. Not for Lamar, but for the other guys who are going to get that after he opens the door. Because he'll make it look like he's still underpaid. But there's going to be a lot of guys who won't make it look like that. And that's what's scary. Yeah, Bonilla. Exactly, Karen. Exactly. Bobby Bonilla Day every year.
Yeah. He gets $1 million.
That scares me.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I still think that I don't know. I just don't know how much the leverage rate. I mean, I guess they still have leverage they can execute on Lamar and just simply say, dude, you got to pay. You got to play, right? You got to play to get paid, period. And this is not what we do. But I'm calling it right now. I think it is what it is, dude. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I hope, like Tanja said, it's real easy. He just gets a little more than Allen got. And we just kind of, whoever, was Allen the last guy to get paid?
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that's what it is. And I hope there's not anything close to the issues that we saw last season where we have.
Right. 2 seasons ago, right?
Yeah. Or last time. Yeah. Yeah. It was a couple seasons ago. Because this time around, Jimbo, I don't think we're going to have it where no team offers.
No, I don't think it gets that far. Lamar's more mature. I think this is their second negotiation, coming to the table. He has more leverage, so I think it gets done faster. I do.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I hope it does, because they could create a ton of cap space if they can get that deal done.
And it will be needed.
Yeah, and of course, I don't want Lamar to ever play it down in another jersey. If the Ravens let that happen, oh, that would be devastating. This guy is a lifer. He's a statue guy, and I hope they can find a way to make it happen.
100%. I think that's it for us tonight, Glenn.
Yeah, that's all we had. Not a lot, but guys, don't forget, just around the corner, they have a training camp is starting, and we will be talking all of it, making sure you guys stay up to pace on all the Ravens news. But thank you guys for joining us back tonight after a bit of a vacation break for 410 Sports Talk. Appreciate you not forgetting about us. And Don C, appreciate you. Lisa Ann, thank you for coming out. Baltimore Ravens 76, appreciate you. Kieran Martin, Tanja, Smitty. Let's see. I don't want to forget some Nut Nasty. Thank you, CJ. Appreciate you coming out. Thank you all who watched as well, who didn't participate in the chat. And we'll be back soon.
See you.